And we are live. Of course, Cameron. How about you do that again, Jack? We are live. We are T minus 27 minutes away from a cheeky FP1, the Spanish Grand Prix round 9. A third of the championship is in the books already, and it's going to get techier than techie things. I'm just hearing Lando Norris. Is this Lando? Go on, first poll of the day. You guys let me know this. Is this Lando Norris 2.0? Is this still Lando Norris 1.0 in disguise? False seeming, 3 points adrift in a Drivers' Championship. Is he back? I was listening to Ben Hunt's biography on all things Lando Norris, and I just think his gift and curse is that he was so fast. He's never had to delve deep. Do you know what I mean? He's always been the best, and it's never, not even been close. T minus 27 minutes until we get ourselves a cheeky FP1. Benzema legend, Dwight, 11th 10. Daniel, as always, putting in purple sectors. Brett, Issa, Brett, Nicola, you guys are legends. Rafa, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Ad infinitum, in extremis, especially when your boys' operational infrastructure is poorer than the Scuderia Ferrari, like them, their red cars with the yellow badges and black prancing horses. By the way, we have ourselves Nico Rosberg on deck. Spain is going to get techie, lest we forget 2016. Maximilian Verstappen's first Grand Prix victory at the altar of a cheeky love kiss between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. Of course it was Lewis Hamilton's fault. Of course it was Nico Rosberg's fault. What are you talking about? Both of their faults. On the back of which Nico Rosberg, get your boy Cameron with his glasses on, I forgot. Take your glasses off, Cameron. They were quite comfortable though, I'll be honest with you. Oh dear. On the back of which Toto Boy Who Cried Wolf said, you lot crash into each other again and you're going to have to pay me for it. Qualifying head-to-head, they're 4-4. Look at that. Races 4-4. Oscar Piastri and Lando wins. Oscar Piastri has the whip hand right, 4-2. He's beating Lando, 161 points, plays 158. Oscar obviously leading the Drivers' Championship is going to get Professor Cameron. Oh, what's going on? Modern day Jordan. Rafa, let us go. 180. Now that wasn't bad from Lando. Let me take 2 seats. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to shut up and eat yourself a sizable dose of humble pie. I have to, because I've been critical of Lando, not because he's not quick, because he is. He's rapid, but I didn't believe. I will be open and honest here. Transparency sometimes is redeeming in value, edifying even. I didn't think Lando Norris had it in himself to pull out a qualifying lap. I mean, bloody Nora through Massenet. Did you see him? Did a double apex thing. He was a bit good, reminiscent of Maximilian Verstappen, some might say. He was really, really good coming up the bloody hill. That double apex thing, just going into Mirabao, before the Mirabao downhill. It's like, hang on, who is this chap? Like, how? How and why? I didn't think that he had it. Not that Lando couldn't do that in a circumstance sans pressure. But with pressure, Q3, Charles Leclerc currently on provisional pole. Does Lando Norris have it in himself to pull the best out of himself in the times when he needed it most? And my answer prior to the Monaco Grand Prix, round 8 Monte Carlo, was a resounding no. And again, Lando Norris, Norris, Lando Norris 2.0 apparently turning up and making your boy Cameron eat humble pie. I would have bet my life that Lando Norris wasn't going to drop it on board. I bet see Charles Leclerc in that mood. There's been articles written on the dude. There's been articles written on Charles Leclerc comparing and contrasting the fella to Ayrton Senna, because he's reminiscent of him around Monaco, but Lando was something different. I tell you what, go back and watch the pole lap. Different levels, particularly sector 1, the bloody Massenet. That the way I don't know. Maybe there is something to Will Joseph and that and the commentary, instructive, prescriptive even in his commentary. You're losing time here. Braking turn 2, accelerator, being very specific. And again, I don't want to say that that's brand new, but it was stark in terms of its contrast. I've never heard Lando's his race engineer be that prescriptive as far as instruction. And look at Lando. He comes to this Grand Prix looking like he's had like 12 hours sleep, You know what I mean? Times 7. Look at him relaxed. He's got his shoulders put. It's work. This is a momentum game, is it not? Formula One. So you want to be an F1 driver. Like he's backing him, right? But this might be his weakness again. Maybe this is nonchalance and Lando gets too confident now and lacks hunger. And that maybe Oscar Piastri, maybe this works in his favour, that Oscar is luring Lando Norris into his trap by dint of the most recent race circumstance. It's going to get techie. What are you saying, Rafa? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. New farm in Brisbane. Let's go, David. What time is it over there then? 10 p.m.-ish? Bloody know where the glasses are working. J-Rock, you're a legend. My lighting doesn't work with them though, sadly. Makes them look a bit weird. I've tried to do the Idris Elba thing. A bit of a stringer bell from the wire. But your boy's far too ugly to masquerade as an Idris Elba impersonator. Do you know what I mean? Oscar and Lando, the rabbit and the turtle story. I love what you've done there, Issa. I love what you've done there. Yes, a lot of Oscar doomsdayers here. I think Oscar will be just fine. He'll be all right, David. You know what I mean? I mean, he's unaffected. Who have you got then? Go on then. Let's get the first poll of the day out, as we are T-minus 21 minutes away from. Look at that in the Constructors. McLaren, 319, 172 points down the road from Mercedes. 176 points down the road from Red Bull. 177 points down the road from Ferrari. What are we doing here? That is chaos. Absolute chaos. Go on then. Who have you got? First poll of the day, and we'll be here. Oh, second poll of the day even. TD018, 55% of you saying no difference as far as McLaren are concerned. That's going to be the question of the day, right? Maximilian Verstappen on deck saying that hopefully he'll be competitive. Praying is the 4 soon to be 5 time for a circumstance or even a car that we got in Imola. Interesting. One who's going to get a bench. That's just not me. Not me. George Russell saying that Mercedes have lost it. They weren't very good, were they? What happened? Point A to B. Who do you think is quicker? Lando or Oscar? I think generally, I think Lando is quicker. But his problem has always been, where you get the downside as far as Lando is, can he be quickest at the right time when it's pressure? And to be fair, we did it in Monaco, so who am I? Peter D. Wins, a friend of the channel, said it best, right? If Lando can do it in Monaco, then what's to stop him? I don't know. Great stream with James. James Allen is an absolute legend. Black is the new black, says David. Let's go. No, great stream. I appreciate you, Pope San Miguel. James Allen is I'll be honest with you, that's not the best interview that you're ever going to get out of me, because I was ever so slightly starstruck. The dude's voice, I mean, like, what are you? And the same happened with Mr. Windsor first time round, right? But now Peter, as much as a mentor and an idol, is a friend too, right? So it's just it's a conversation. Oh my gosh, Simon asked Nico, what is going on with your mate Lewis? Bloody Nora. We're getting into the hard-hitting subject straight away. But no, I appreciate each and every single one of you that have watched the James Allen interview. He was on fine form, wasn't he? Got away with words as James. He's very efficient, but very pointed. And the story is flipping Nora. FP1, T-minus 19 minutes. Nico Rosberg chiming in on Sir Lewis Hamilton, saying that all we're saying as far as Lewis Hamilton's performance, who, by the way, is the greatest of all time, says Nico Rosberg. All that we're seeing as far as the underperformance is no change versus 2024, right? This is broadly in line. There are no variances, adverse or favourable versus budget and or expectations. Mark Webber begs to differ about Oscar being number 2. Go on, let's get the poll out then. I think what's happening to Lewis is what's been happening to modern day Jean Alesi for the longest time, in that it's hard to rise yourself. It's hard to do what Michael Schumacher did in 2000, 2004, even earlier than that, 97, 98, 99, when he wasn't winning anything. It's hard to rise. It's hard to pick the team up to your level as versus diminish your light to its level. Scuderia Ferrari are here, and I'd argue that Lewis and Charles, as far as their ability, are here. What Charles has struggled with as far as Scuderia Ferrari, the red car, the yellow badge, black punching horse atop, is not drowning his capability and his not insubstantiability behind the wheel of an F1 car, not allowing the rising tide of Ferrari incompetence to diminish his competence, diminish his ability to deliver in the peakest of peak moments. And I'd argue that Charles has done one of these. He's allowed his ability to revert to the mean, to lower itself to the level at which Ferrari are operating, and that's been Charles' problem. And I'd argue that Lewis is now falling into that same thing. It's hard, right? Imagine, like, I just want GP. I want GP as a race engineer. Give me the information that I need as and when I need it. Don't tell me about I'm checking, because that means that I don't trust you. Don't tell me Max Verstappen is on a hot lap. Oh no, he's not on a hot lap. And then when he comes to overtake me, by the time he's on my gearbox, only then do I realise that Max is on a hot lap. You lose credibility that way, and so trust. And if you're an F1 driver, Chariots of Fire, driving a car at 100 gazillion miles an hour, threading the needle of the streets of Monte Carlo, what you don't have is bandwidth to do what Sebastian Vettel used to do with Riccardo Adami and drive around his misinformation and his incompetence. Not wrong with Sir Lewis, says Selvin. I don't think there's anything wrong with Sir Lewis, but I think as you get older, Selvin, like I'm testament to it, I need things to be, I can't just go. Do you know what I mean? I need 8 hours sleep, and I need things to be not quite perfect, but close to perfect. I can't operate in a I know I'm not Sir Lewis, and it's disingenuous of me to even put my name in the same sentence of Sir Lewis and his operational excellence, unprecedented settings, Mount Rushmore of F1. First round Hall of Fame, of course. It would be disingenuous, but with that being said, I think Lewis would have been better off at Mercedes. And again, I'm being a Monday morning quarterback. Hindsight is always 2020, of course it is. But I think the familiar circumstance of Mercedes, the boys and girls over at Brackley and Brixworth, will do Sir Lewis Hamilton really, really well now more than ever. Well, let's get ourselves some cheeky metrics. And again, the metrics on your screen, about to be on your screen, always provided to you by the legends over at Multiviewer. Legends, one and all. I hope you guys enjoyed the preview video. If you haven't watched it already, then go and check it out after this stream, of course. Or the only reason why I make that preview video, it's so long to do the due diligence requisite to pull that video together. But the only reason why I do it is because I go and watch. I want to know what I need to know ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix race weekend. And there's not one video. I've got to go and watch like 10 different videos and peruse to it. Like I've got to go and collate that information. So I am your eyes and ears, right? I want to go and do that work so you guys don't have to. How long do the pit stops take under green flag circumstances? 22.5. Well, how long under safety car? What's the discount? 12.5 seconds, so you'll save 10 seconds. What's the offset? How much time do I need in hand around here to get an overtaking manoeuvre done? How many laps? Is it 73? Is it 78 like it was at Monte Carlo? Or is it 68? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. No one does it. Go on, tell me about flexuing. What's being changed? What's the name of the technical directive? Why are they instituting for it now? What, do you know what I mean? I want to know all these things now. But again, I've got to go and watch 10,000 videos, each of which is like 60 minutes long. And I'd rather, as a channel, who's doing the 8-minute video where it's just like bam, 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 2 stop, 1 stop. What's going on? What's the race distance? 307 kilometers. Like, give it to me. Give it to me in bite size. And again, not all of the videos will be long form back and forth. Adami needs to go to the Met Gala. Oh my gosh, Max, and stay there. Max, do you know what I mean? T-minus 13 minutes away from a cheeky FP1. Good evening, Gumarch. Everyone present. It's not an ordinary practice session, this. It holds some gravitas, 100%. It's all about flexing, guy. 15 millimeters becomes 10 and 6 becomes 3 or something like that. Ruth told you earlier on the preview video. I can't remember because I'm too noddy. A B-spec F1 mind. T-minus 13 minutes. Charles Leclerc chiming in saying, as a driver, it will change the balance. Ruth Biscombe said that it'd be worth anywhere up to a tenth. So they'll be a tenth slower, these cars. You definitely don't know what you're talking about. I don't know any. Andrew, I know nothing. Do you know what I mean? I defer to the experts. I'm a B-spec F1. If you're talking to me about driving, then we've got ourselves a different conversation. Not that I can drive like a Lewis or Charles. And if we're going go-karting, Andrew, then I'll hold my own. Do you know what I mean? Know a little bit about an apex, a combined entry, a combined exit. Like I can handle. I can handle. Andrew, Joanna, you're an absolute legend. 5 becomes 2, sir, says Umach. There we go. 5 becomes 2 as far as the inboard portion of the front wing. Is it 15 to 11? Can't remember Umach. This is where it gets too my eyes start to. If we talk too much technical stuff, Albert Fabregas style, like it gets too much for me. The joke is I had an article ready to go, and then I hid the link, and then it disappeared. The race article, courtesy of Scott Mitchell, man. It was there, it was ready, and then it disappeared. I promise you. I tell you no lies. Right, let's get ourselves cheeky. Oh, wow, look at that. Lando Norris says that he's not concerned, mate. Nothing to see here. Right, let's get ourselves. Naomi quoting what Ruth Biscombe said on the F1 TV, that she saw that it would be a tenth. Yeah, I also saw that it would be a tenth difference. They just watch the save. They don't go and do any research of their own, do they? They don't go and talk to the engineers. They just watch F1 TV and go with what Ruth says. Do you know what I mean? Just like your boy Cameron out here does. Right, let's go. Let's get some metrics on the go. We are ready to go. We have 60 minutes on the docket. We are T-minus 11 minutes away from round 9, FP1, Spanish Grand Prix. The last of them at Circuit de Catalunya. Bring on subscriber kart race. Pope San Miguel is going to be Sandown. Daytona Racing. Sandown. In or Milton Keynes. Oh, the humanity, Pope San Miguel. That's my old stumpy. Although I need to lose about 10 kilograms before we go properly. I would need to lose a lot of. I mean, there is lap time in weight. Mention no names. Nico Rosberg. He told us that. Oh, yeah, we'll have to do it at some point. Lando should be concerned. He's bluffing. Is he bluffing, Dwight? I mean, he's quick. This book that I'm reading, learning a lot about Lando. Apparently, when bear with, I'll tell you this in a second. Apparently, Nico Rosberg is on to one today. Look at this. Apparently, in his younger day, Lando Norris was very stubborn. His dad formed a driver coaching company called ADD. This is all brand new news to me as I unpick this book. And in that book, they say, once upon a time, Lando was far too quick, far too stubborn, far too cocksure to take counsel and or advice. But then, all of a sudden, as he got older and matured, they found, per ADD, this management company, Lando Norris's dad, that Lando Norris was keen to absorb because he wanted to get better. He was keener to take information on board and take advice. I'm not sure I believe that ish. I don't know. I don't think that's true. Not the Lando Norris that I see. Now, I think Lando Norris still wants to plough his own furrow, and that ultimately, I don't want to say might lead to his demise because that's far too morbid. But I think as far as the Drivers' Championship, I feel like when Lando's confident like this, I fear for him more because that means that he's going to stick it on pole and then lose seed position into turn 1, which is circa 600 metres as far as it's running, to Oscar or to Maximilian Verstappen. You think if Max Verstappen drops this on pole, then Lando Norris is all of a sudden going to have the minerals, the panacea to overtake his old mate, with whom he travels back and forth to and from Grand Prix weekend. I just think it's a myth. I'll be honest with you, I think it's a lie. I don't know, chat. I genuinely think it's a bit of a myth. But that's just me. A leopard, some people say, do not change their spots. You cannot teach an old dog, not that Lando's old, but you can't teach an old dog new trick. Not like that, at least. Not like that. Oh, for crying out loud, Cameron. Just sort out your live chat. Right, let's go. We're ready to go. Well, I hear what you're saying, but Oscar will have him for breakfast every single day. That dude is so smart and analytical. He's a different gravy, isn't it? Ivan Dera says, it's not the wings, it's also the floor. Don't hate it. Peter D wins a thesis. That whole car is a cheat. It all ends this weekend, says Ivan Dera. I've written a Neo-Shakespeare archaic English poem. Want to hear it? Fire away, much. Keep it short though, mate. I'll read it all out if it's a couple of lines. 259. I imagine, Joanna, the other humanity. Do you know what I mean? It's not acceptable, is it really? So many watchers, so little likes. Do me a favour now if you could. Let me say this. I will labour the point, and I make no apologies for it, for my name is the name above the door, of course, but this community grows, drives and survives by dint of your industry and your patience with me and holding me to account. You know what I mean? Putting Cameron's feet to the fire and telling him that he's wrong, that he doesn't know the FlexiWing technical directive TD018 that you do. It's a community. This isn't the Cameron CC channel. It is in name, of course, but you know what I mean? This is a community. Wonder what the bookies are thinking. Rafa, we went through it on the review, but we can talk to it again. The bookmakers are thinking this. So, have we still got it? Maybe I've still got. Have I? I deleted it. Of course you did, Cameron. Right, here's what the bookmakers have. For the Drivers' Championship, Oscar Piastri is currently favourite, which is interesting. They have him at 6-5, meaning that if you bet £5, you'll get 6 back. Take away your stake as well. Walk away with 11 quid. This is not financial advice, by the way. Meaning, therefore, in simulation terms, that if you run 100 simulations of the championship under the current circumstances, with OJ Piastri in the lead to the tune of a couple points from Lando Norris, they say, the bookmakers, the experts say that Oscar Piastri will take the championship 45% of the time, Lando 38%, Max Verstappen 25%, George Russell a measly, a piffly 1%. Spanish Grand Prix, here are your percentages. Lando Norris wins 36% of the time, OJ Piastri 40%, ergo the favourite. Maximilian Verstappen wins 23% of the time, and Charles Leclerc a piffly 6% of the time. Techie, than techie things, I'm telling you. I can't wait. I don't know whether they're right. I see what they're doing as far as OJ Piastri, that they've got more faith in him than they have Lando Norris, especially of late. But I feel like they want to put some more respect, just a tad, just a bit more respect on Lando's name. Do you know what I mean? On the back of Monaco, like Peter Windsor said, right? If you can nail it in Monaco, if you bring the best out of yourself there at the peakest of times in Q3, when you've got a fire-breathing dragon in Charles Leclerc, who's an expert, Senna-esque around Monaco, Monte Carlo, his home Grand Prix, then, I mean, you can do it anywhere. Frank Sinatra settings, right? If I can do it there, I can do it anywhere. Let's go, Carmen. Yes, 23, you're a legend. Wonder what the bookies are thinking. We did that already. EK, I believe in miracles, Benzi. Joanna says, we will see what Aston Martin are doing next year. There's a lot of chatter around Adrian Newey, right? He said some things, that it's not just the wind tunnel, it's not just your equipment, it's your ability to attract and keep God-tier personnel, the greatest intellectual, the greatest critical thinkers in F1. Because otherwise you won't be able to get it done. Go on then, summary. Round 9, Spanish Grand Prix, Barcelona, Circuit de Catalunya. The last time that will be around there, by the way. 4.657 track distance kilometres. Top speed 346.4. Lap record 111.383. Maximilian Verstappen. Elevation 29.6. Lap 66, not 68. As aforementioned, your boy got it wrong. But I digress. Now come of Spain with Edict Stern and tight. No wing shall be shall BOW. No dance beyond the right. BOW. I don't know what BOW means. I can't do it justice too much. The line glideth whilst rivals stand perplexed, humbling thy proud machines when the wings do not Flex, bravo, Umach. You know what I mean? Shakespearean sonnet in iambic pentameter. Don't hate it, mate. This chat's making me peck it. Oh, Benzie, say it's not so. Bring on FP1. T minus 2 minutes away from a cheeky FP1. And again, the metrics that you see on either side of your screen brought to you by the legends over at Multiviewer. Very poetic. It's decent e-match. Your boy Cameron failed to do it justice. Sadly. There is merch, by the way. There is merch. If you want to do yourself a favour, okay, look, I've housekeeping. Do me a favour. 300 of you in the chat, smash yourself a like. There's only 70 of you who've done it thus far. To those, I'm infinitely grateful. Do me a favour. Take 2 seconds. We're looking to go purple sectors and learn how to talk in 2025. Smash the like. Bottom left of your screen. It matters a lot. In the second instance, if you want to support the channel, as have done nearly 300 people, just a little more than 300 people, become a member. There is a join button at the bottom right of your screen that will get you access to a couple of different things, to the Discord, using which we continue the conversation, exploring all things respectfully, modes of F1 discourse. So too, you'll get access to some sexy emojis. You'll get yourself priority in the chat. And then, of course, there is some merch and a cheeky newsletter if you're an elated pebbler, a member of the channel. And there's some merch, Cameron F1 shop, some sexy market-leading Max Verstappen merch, some might say. Yuki Tsunoda, Lewis Hamilton merch on the way. Shot Ferrari win on the cards. I don't know about all of that, Selvin. Go on then, Selvin. Let's bathe in the very murky waters of reason and rational mindedness for a second if we're talking Ferrari. Here's what happens with Ferrari. Around Monaco, they don't need to run. The circuit is such, as far as its aspect and its makeup, that you don't need to run that car so low, because that car's character, that track even, is characterized by low speed turns. So too, the ability to ride the curbs. That's where all your speed will come from. It's Rascasse and it's Portier. You know what I mean? And it's Mirabeau. Slow speed corners each and every single time. And to do that, you need to make sure that you've got downforce tapped on. That doesn't necessitate you're being able to run the car super low, as it would at, I don't know, a Circuit de Catalunya at Barcelona on around 9. Again, it's mostly medium speed, but Monaco, those turns at Monaco, the antithesis to high speed turns, right? Silverstone couldn't be more different from Monte Carlo. Ergo, Ferrari will look quick for a second at Monaco, but it will look slow at Silverstone, because at Silverstone, to navigate your way as quickly as possible through their medium to high speed turns, Maggots, Beckett's et al., you need for the car to be able to run low. The reason why Ferrari can't run low is because it lacks rigidity as far as its suspension at the rear, and they risk excessive plank wear. Therefore, as Lewis Hamilton got disqualified in China this year, that's the problem. So Selvin, I would argue that Charles Leclerc in their red car with them yellow badges and black prancing horse atop, flattered to deceive at Monaco, since it's anomalous. It's not typical of the most frequently occurring circumstance on the calendar, as at 2025. 340 if you're watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash the like. Per Joanna. EK. What's EK? Maybe Ferrari. I doubt it, mate. I just doubt it. Maybe. I mean, apparently they're bringing it. In fact, they're not even bringing very many upgrades, so I'm told. Not many. Ferrari do have upgrades. We are. Look at that. Brooks is already saying that this is a Max track. He's gone well around here in the past, didn't he? This Max fella. I mean, Fabio Quartararo, MotoGP. Never heard of him in my life. Always have a smile on my face whenever a new video drops on a live stream. My favourite channel, as well as Peter D. Windsor. You're a legend, Daniel, and I appreciate you saying that. How do we pronounce it? Victor Martin. You know what? The proper French is to say Martin, right? Victor Martin. Can't do it though. That's the one thing. I've been trying to say, you know, where they say without, sans, or plus change. I can't say Martins. I'm not good enough. Now to learn French one of these days. You're joking, right? Lando only went good at the end of the season when he had no chance of winning the championship. Brett, I don't disagree with you, mate. When the pressure was off at Abu Dhabi, and pressure, by the way, is not all pressure is created equally. Some are created more equal than others, or something like that. When you've got Carlos Sainz breathing down your neck in the states of the Constructors' Championship, of course, Lando Norris is going to be living his best life. Of course he is. I mean, Christian ended up at Ferrari. EK, it's techie that. I'm not sure that he will end up at Ferrari, but no longer is it the least likely outcome. Stranger things have happened, EK. That's the honest truth. Because anything in F1 can and usually does transpire. 57 minutes and 15 seconds left on the docket. Nico glazing Max on Sky F1. What does he know? He only beat Schumacher and New. Wow. Do you know what I mean? I like what you've done there. How very dare we, Glenn? Max is average peddler, Max. Do you know what I mean? He's a fast car merchant. I mean, just like Sebastian Vettel. If Adrian knew he didn't build Max a car, he'd be nowhere. He'd be an also run. Yeah, of course. Of course he would. Wulong, you've upset me again, chap. Something else he said, Wulong, and I was just like, what's Wulong? Wulong's deliberately trying to make a difficult day, an already difficult day, more difficult. I'm going to take a screenshot of what he said, Wulong. It's disrespectful, mate. Me and you aren't friends at the moment. Flexiband, back and front. Will it help the team that wants a Max with zero fizz with... Who knows? I'd say, well, McLaren, if McLaren are to be believed, they're saying that there's going to be no downside, that there will be no change as far as the running order. I'm not sure that that's true, though. Are you buying what McLaren are selling? 75% of you are buying what Oscar Piastri's selling. Look at that. Holy smoke. No love for Lando. Are we recency bias merchants, chat? Are we just looking at Oscar's... just the fact that he's winning the chat? I don't know. Having a look at the onboard of Charles Leclerc. There's no such thing as Max Glaze. But it's not glazing if it's true. Do you know what I mean? I'm not having it. Glad to have Nico Rosberg on board, by the way. FP1's made infinitely more fun with Nico Rosberg at the helm. Do you know what I mean? How very dare you interrupt Nico Rosberg for radio, Brooksy. Unacceptable. Words are cheap, just like free FIA complaints. Oof. This is the first time you've done me wrong. Oh, March, I apologise, mate. I like to be a bit... enunciation is key. Phonetics. I actually studied phonetics at university very briefly as a minor to my major. I like to enunciate things properly, you know. What's this on my t-shirt? Nico Rosberg, talking the truth, the flexi wing, okay, we'll go through the flexi wing as we are. Okay, runners and riders, look at that already. Straight out the bat on hards. White walled hard compound type. And important for context that we've got the C1, C2 and C3 around here. So the hardest three in the lot. No longer we affected by the old... the additional super soft that the FIA have brought in. So look, your runners and riders with T-minus 53 minutes left on the docket. Fastest time this session thus far. Lando Norris, of course, on a 16.0. Piastri, 16.1. Bloody no, not a lot between the McLaren pairing, eh? Alonso, Antonelli, Stroll, Gasly. Oh no, we've got a horse in the bloody gravel. Look at that. What's that? Rio Hirakawa. Come on, Rio. Is it Nico Rosberg saying that Christian Horner has been lobbying the FI? Let's go, Nico. What a breath of fresh air. Give that man a contract and allow him to write his own number. the F1 space is better for Nico Rosberg. The broadcast levels up infinitely, exponentially when Nico Rosberg has a microphone in his hand. I'm telling you, it's just they need to just make it so. I don't know. Can you imagine Nico Rosberg and James Allen and Windsor and Brunder? Oh my gosh, F1 would lose its mind. It would be just better, wouldn't it? Sack off. I know. Get Anthony Davidson on the bloody on the Sky Pad or whatever. But after that, just, do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm sorry, Rio Hirakawa says. There was one guy in the James Allen video who said Cam failed to trap James into Max Glazy. You know what, Umach? Let's talk about that. Because I do like to, I like to get the great ones to chime in. I enjoy it particularly when Windsor gets into his Max Verstappen bag. And I've heard James on his podcast. Again, go and check out the James Allen on F1 podcast on Spotify or iTunes or Apple Pod, wherever you check out your podcasts. And I've heard very recently, James he was speaking about the inevitability of Oscar, but again, linked it back to, we've talked about Max and when he gets into his qualifying bag. And there is a feeling of I was convinced, this goes to show how Max has been behaving of late. I was convinced, yet and still, notwithstanding the pace deficit of the RB21, particularly around Monaco, I was waiting for the Max Verstappen lap. Now, it never came to pass, but that just goes to show you, right? And this dude has been doing the unexpected ad infinitum this season. I don't know. Max glazing is a hobby, says Airs Forza. I would, no, I'm a big fan of Max. But you've got to, I haven't said this in a while, right? But truth, value and objectivity on this channel, neither one of those things will be sacrificed at the altar of partisanship. Got to shoot straight. You will lose your self-integrity, AS Forza. But do I like it? Can I appreciate it when Max Verstappen puts in a god-tier pole lap and seizes victory from the Jules No Mores of defeat? 100%. 100%, Selvin. 100% Ferrari's looking smooth on the track. Behave yourself, Sebastian. I do not believe you. Where are they on timing sheet? 15.9. Don't hate that. Only 0.3 adrift of Norris. But then again, look at that. Alonso on a 15.4. What? Has Adrian Newey already been breathing on that Aston Martin? That makes no sense. What are we doing here? Go on, runners and riders with team on 5 minutes, 50 minutes, and 3 seconds left on the docket. Alonso on a 15.4. What? On hard compound tyres. What? Everybody on hards for now, apart from Franco Colapinto and Lance Stroll. Getting that due diligence in, because tyre deg will be a thing around here. Too many long, demanding tyre compound taxing tyres around here as we get a cheeky look at Hannah Schmitz, the legend of Red Bull strategy on the pit wall. I mean, who better than her? Cheeky aero rake. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Is that Ferrari? Is that Lewis again? Oh, Charles Leclerc. Okay, Charles Leclerc. Don't hate it. Max's Cameron's donut double glazed. Yeah, Joe. Like I said, it's not glazing, mate. It's sporting endeavour par excellence is what it is, and I make no apology for that. So that's not the point. The point is that there are people out there who are convinced that you are trying to brainwash your audience by making reputed lips speak well about that. To be fair, Umach, I was what I was angling for. So if you do due diligence on James, his bank is inevitable. Like on the most recent, not the most recent James Allen podcast where he's talking about the business of Monaco and etc. etc. On the one prior to that, James spoke about Inevitability. It was a brilliant piece where he talked about the feeling. Max Verstappen over the radio. Max, can we have diffs mid-7, please? I'm not sure that's what I want, says Max, to be honest. I'd heard James talk about the inevitability, and I wanted to, because in my experience of Max is that it is like when he's on a pole, there is that sense of inevitability is the word. And so I kind of wanted him to echo my sentiments, but he was, no, when he said inevitability, James Allen on F1 podcast, he was referring to Oscar overtaking Max that time a couple of races ago it was Miami, wasn't it? That there was a sense of inevitability, notwithstanding the fact that Max managed to put it on pole, there was a sense of inevitability, not as far as Lando overtaking Max, but the way that Oscar managed it, there was a sense of inevitability. So that's where I was going with that. How very dare you, Pope San Miguel, more glazing than Everest. Why do you suppose that RB21 is a bad car? I don't think the RB21 is a bad car. AS Forza, it's not slow, but it looks worse. It's the reverse Ferrari thing. It flatters to deceive as far as how bad it was around Monte Carlo, where it can't take curves. Not good around low speed turns that so define Monte Carlo as a track. Your Portiers and your Mirabeaus and your Rascasses. You and Peter make this hypothesis all the time. That it's a bad car, AS Forza. I would challenge you, chapter. So it appears to be not a bad car, but not the quickest, right? Sometimes it looks okay. So Red Bull do the thing between free practice and qualifying where they tinker with extreme setups and it looks worse than it is. Bad car, no. Fastest, most definitely not. Penzi, Matt's pushback, Lando. I think Lando killed the first sector as well. Easy G. If you watch the Ghost, I don't know, he was quick. He carried some speed through some of them turns at the top of the hill. Max, does he hate? Does he hate to lose more than he loves to win? Quite possibly. I like what you've done there. Go on then. We are T-minus 46 minutes left on the docket. It is FP1. It is round 9. The Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona. Quite sad that this is going to be the last. They're going to the Madrid. What is that? They're going to the Madrid ring after this. Like flipping Nora. It is absurd how toxic Lewis Hamilton fans have started to hate you. Honestly, Umanch, you can't even. There's a thing that I wrote down, Umanch, that you will like. They can crack on, mate. Like Umanch, genuinely. They can. The irony in it is, Umanch, if we're talking here, the extent to which they gatekeep. I use the word because Lewis Hamilton fans aren't a monolith. Let me not do as to them as they are doing to me and you and we. But here's the point, Umanch. In the first instance, as far as Lewis Hamilton fandom, I've been here a while, do you know what I mean? So if they're Lewis Hamilton fans, then welcome. Like, put your feet up. Grab yourself a drink, do you know what I mean? A beverage. Like this Lewis Hamilton fan base thing has been going on long before most of them were. That's the first instance. And the second, extending from that as a point, how very dare they, the irony that they want to turn around and gatekeep the community. You're this, you're that, you're not a Sir Lewis Hamilton fan. Well, most of generalising, only started watching in 2019 when Drive to Survive came out, the Jokers. They weren't here through the hard times. They didn't shed any tears when Sir Lewis Hamilton won the championship in 2014 because all of the British biased press had been bloody ragging on Sir Lewis Hamilton, expressing discontent about him being a potential merchant, that he was going to go down as a driver. He'd win one championship and the rest of his potential would go unfulfilled. I remember that. I lived through that. So you'll forgive me for not taking these bods serious. Most of them, who were just I don't know, sideline merchants trying to. The irony is Lewis Hamilton has been gatekept from F1 all this time, right? All the while. And then you want to claim Lewis Hamilton fandom, doing the very thing that dude despises and has been fighting against all the while. Contradiction in terms. Hypocrites, Joe, is what that is. And they can hate all they want. And again, some of the things that I hear is that, I'm disconnected from the culture because I speak a certain way. One of these days we'll dive deep into that because that's a level of self-hatred that I can't even get into on the YouTubes. It's techie. It is techie, but let me read this out to you guys so you'll understand. This is where it gets techie. As an F1 commentator, come YouTube, and we'll talk about FP1 in a minute. But since Umach brought it up, I want to nail it. I heard this quote the other day, and I thought it was quite pertinent to the Lewis Hamilton fandom circumstance. You have no enemies, you say. Alas, my friend, the boast is poor. He who has mingled in the fray of duty that the brave endure must have made foes. If you have none, small is the work that you have done. You've hit no traitor on the hip. You've dashed no cup from perjured hip. You've never turned the wrong to right. You've been a coward in the fight. I would argue that many of these Johnny-come-lately Lewis Hamilton fans, do you know what I mean? That applies to them, and they want to read it and take it. Silverstone 2021 was the moment that defined Sir Lewis Hamilton fandom. That's when all the reasonable people abandoned Lewis. Now all that's left is people without principles. Bloody Norris, CJ. Techie. Suggested community poll. Which F1 pilot has the most toxic fangirls? Tanya, it's Techie. Maybe we'll get to it in a minute. 352 if you're watching, could only do me a favour and smash a like. Only 111 likes currently. Your runners and riders with 41 minutes and 45 seconds left on the docket. Who's this Red Bull bud in the garage? I don't recognise him. Is he a Barcelona footballer? Nico Williams. I don't know who that is. I'm going to be honest. Chelsea player potentially. Lando Norris tops your timing sheets on a 1:15.259. Fernando Plan Alonso 15.4. Verstappen shortly thereafter on a 15.5. Bloody Nora. McLaren still have the whip hand, notwithstanding TD018. Although I feel like there's a lot of racing to be done between now and Q3. A lot of mechanical and aerodynamic due diligence to be nailed. Charles Leclerc on a 15.7 shortly thereafter. Piastri in 5th on a 15.8. Talk more about Max and his toxic fan community. There are toxic fans in each community, AS. But from my perspective, if we're wading in the very murky waters of subjectivity for a second, as a person of colour, what I get a lot is hatred from Lewis Hamilton fans who don't like my very unique brand of truth. I'm going to criticise it. If Lewis is 50 seconds behind Charles, you think I'm not going to criticise him? To not criticise Lewis is to deny him his excellence. He's a brilliant driver, probably the best that I've ever seen in a car, ever. So for me to not talk about him being 50 seconds behind is me doing one of these and being an abbot of unreason. And I'm not going to disbelieve my own eyes and ears. I saw who Lewis Hamilton was. I was there in Silverstone 2008 when he was there, and 2007 rookie settings, Adelaide, first race of his career, lap 1, nailing Fernando Alonso, ran the outside, 2 trailer park girls. Like, I was there for all these things, so I'm not going to, I can't. I just think it's rubbish, to be fair. I shouldn't even indulge it as commentary. I just think it's nonsense. It's not worth it. Succinctly put, good sir, closed-mindedness is where the devil rests. The minds that are devoid of counters are the minds where defensive insecurities. I agree with you much. And you know what? That's why I come in here and I hope that you guys hold my feet to the fire. If my truth isn't robust enough, then you guys will break it down. Like, this is the chat. This is the raison d'etre of the channel. It's reason for being. It's very reason for being. Because I won't bat 1,000, sadly. I won't. Sometimes I won't even pass the Mendoza line. I won't. And that's why we have these conversations, right? Because sometimes it needs to be that. Going to have a difference in opinion, and it will be black and white. Not always black and white. Shades of grey sometimes. So don't worry, can my friends hate that I like both Max and Lewis? It's not allowed, is it, Esso? You can't like both Max and Lewis. You've got to pick a side. I can't. I tell them to take seats between. Been watching since 7 years. Young black girl from South Africa, London, and supported Senna first. Them since 2000. Let's go, SO. I loved that comment so much. Nonsense going viral. I hear it all the time these days. CJ, then give the boy a steak. I once was vegan, but only from. I tried to do the vegan thing, Joanna, as well, but didn't have the discipline. Liked meat too much and didn't see the upsides necessarily as far as my health. And it's a big slog, that. Strasbourg starts than both Jacques and Gilles. Yeah, but there's more. I mean, you're not doing like for like, are you there? There's 24 races now per season. So it's, I don't know. Some people in the channel are objectives. Wulong, I'm telling you, me and you aren't talking, mate. You said something. It's like, why is Wulong always getting on at me for it? Don't like it, mate. It's not even worth it. People have short-term memories, recency bias, and are quick to turn on them at 100% mood. I think you're onto something there. It's techie. It's techie. But we don't get angry anymore. Sometimes you've got to... sometimes you, by dint of your truth and objectivity, one makes a rod for their own back. Do you know what I mean? And you've got to be robust enough. But I'll argue any one of them. The joke is they will. But not even. It's not worth it. It's not even. T1 is 37 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Lando Norris tops your timing sheets on a 1:15.2. Yeah, and still. Barcelona Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya, round 9, 2025. It's techie. Go the Blues, the voice of reason. Oh dear. Changing his setup for Max, of course, Julian, as you would expected. On board with Franco Colapinto. Vamos, Franco, Mercado Libre. El dinero sirve, caballo. El dinero sirve, voice of reason. We do try, James, sometimes, you know what I mean? We do try. I've been brainwashed on here to be a Max fan unconverted. San Miguel, it's not me that's brainwashed you, it's Max and his sporting endeavours par excellence in extremis. That's who has brainwashed you. You know what I mean? Cameron, I've been watching since 2008. I do not like Max. What he represents, cocky Dutch, excellent driver that was uber aggressive at the start of his career and despicable people around him. It's your opinion, mate. I've got a friend, Deus Forza, who hates Max Verstappen. And every time Max will drop it on pole, I'll be like, do you still... His name's Pete. Legend. Proper champ. I want to get him on the podcast one time so we can argue about Max. So every time Max drops it on pole or does something that he shouldn't be able to do, that his vehicular circumstance should not permit, I just messaged him. I'm like, Pete, like, do you still hate Max now? It's like, yeah, he's still... I can't. I just don't like him. I think it's the lens, lens of subjectivity, AS Forza. It's dependent on the way in which you ingest your Formula One. If as for me, excellence is the priority, I can't hate Max. He's been too good for too long. Like, Max is the reason why I watch F1. Do you know what I mean? The things that he does. As was Lewis back in the day, like 2000. When Lewis first came on, I was like, well, what? Some of the things Lewis did, I just didn't think I didn't think they were possible. Let alone be able to take the Black Swan events, literally. Nazim Nicholas Taleb settings. I'm more of an F1 fan than a single driver fan. Don't hate it. We're all different. Man, which is the best channel to watch F1? Canal Plus. Watch F1 TV, Prost. I would activate yourself for a yearly membership, about 100 quid's worth. And you're good to go. And Dash, can we please get rid of Monaco as a race? It's on the calendar. It's on the calendar then to do it as a if it's on the calendar. Do it as a real-time trial across both days. A time trial. I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea, Randash. A time trial would be mega. Like they're doing skiing, eh? Slalom. Stroll co-driver dynasty. Lance Stroll Jr. versus... Oh my God. Lance... I don't know what's going on with Lance. It's nonsense. I'm kind of... I've got a champagne. Got a bottle of champers ready to pop when Lance leaves. Cheeky shot of Tom Stollard. Oscar Jacks. Mr. Stoic. Oscar Jacks. Race engineer. Colapinto to keep it on track. I don't know, Benzie. That might be a bit reachy, mate. This will always be the reason why I hate the Met Gala. I just don't. I'm not a big fan. Despicable like his father. Bloody no ass. Say it how you mean it. Why don't you, chap? Do you know what I mean? Shoot straight. Lewis is not washed. And if Max wins this year, I'll add him to my F1 mantra. Michael was the greatest. Sir Lewis is the undisputed GOAT of all F1 history, but Senna is still the F1 god. Don't hate it, Andash. I get where you're coming from, says Mood. And that is why, that is the best way to see it. We judge them as drivers and not as as people. We do not know them. He's been quietly complicit to many problematic situations. So yeah, bloody Nora, you lot are getting a bit techie out here. Or political and moral compassy. Look at me, my head's itching from the stress. Palms are sweaty, mum spaghetti. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Who are we to be judging the people around drivers and attributing it to them? I'm sure everyone has someone around them that others can label that. It's hypocrisy of couch people. There's a lot. Don't hate it, so don't hate it. Sing for the same hymn sheet. FP1, T-minus 32 minutes remaining. Lando Norris touched the timing sheet. Interesting, this. Interesting. Maybe the FlexiWing TD018 hasn't converged the field, hasn't done the old Uno reverse on McLaren's MCL39. Maybe Schumi was the goat, says Rafa. We could have that argument, eh? Best sectors. Sector 1 is the remit of Lando. Here's what McLaren are probably going to have over the red. Of course, the aerodynamic efficiency. But there is a school of thought around Barcelona that, especially in qualifying, that your tyres will be hanging on for dear life, particularly as we get to Sector 3, as George Russell goes top on mediums this time on a 114.7. There is a school of thought that goes that Barcelona is so mercurial and juxtaposition-y as far as its track circumstance that when you get through to Sector 3 and it is stop and start it, well, it's medium, low minimum speed / medium speed turns, Sector 3. By the time you get round there, Barcelona's going to... There's a tax to be paid as far as tyre deg, right? And which one of these cars and teams win the tyre deg race? Of course, it's McLaren. So all of these guys over the course of a hot lap will be managing tyres, except for the papaya coloured team, eh? T-minus 30 minutes and 45 seconds left on the docket. Start the toxic conversation. Let's start racing, says Dwight. Oscar is like, Max, he won't care. Oof, I don't think he did. Yeah. I mean, James Allen argues. Was it James Allen? Somebody was arguing the other day that Max is even more level than Max. That Max's soft, vulnerable underbelly is the fact that he can sometimes lose his temper. And that rarely, but I agree, sometimes. I mean, Hungary last year as an example. Hungary, Austria. I'm a -5 brake bias, and if the thing won't fudge in turn. Yeah, so I've never heard that from Oscar. That was the remark. Soft compound tyres for Hulkenberg goes up 14.8. Do not hate it. I mean, track evolution is going to be a thing around here as well. So too is the fact that we've only got 138 likes. What are we doing here? Surely this is the only channel that invites people from the other side of the pitch. It doesn't matter if the other side's arguments are banal. They still deserve our eardrums. Not like at 100% you much. You've nailed it. That's the point of the chat. So long as it's respectful. I mean, we've all got different proclivities, right, and allegiances. If you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, then like, do you know what I mean? Well, I'm going to jump on here and tell you that you can't be a Lewis Hamilton fan because you're not doing X, Y, and Z. That would be stupid. Do you know what I mean? That would be nonsensical. But I digress. Lewis Hamilton, here we go. Lewis Hamilton on the softs, yeah? Don't hate it. You love to see it. I think he just wants to be top of the time. Sometimes confidence is a currency, right? Commodity even. A rare resource. Tender. Trade. And Lewis Hamilton can do with some confidence. So too could the red team. Ricardo, Adami, etc. Go on then. So all tune into Lewis Hamilton's lap here. Here we go. Charles going for it. Purple microsector from Charles. 22.2. Still some way shy of Lando Norris's purple sector 1, which was a 22.1. A tenth for drift. Charles Leclerc going for it though. He's 200ths up on the current quickest. As you'd expect. I mean, he's on soft compound tyres. And the track will be more evolved with T-minus 28 minutes left on the docket than it was when Lando Norris set his 15.2. Purple sector from Charles. 29.5 sector 2. Let's go. He's going for it, isn't he, Charles Leclerc? Yeah, this is qualifying due diligence from Charles Leclerc. Going for it. 2 purple microsectors in sector 3. He's about to go quickest here is Charles. 14.5 potentially. 14.2. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the humanity. But again, context is key. Bloody Nora. And now Lewis. Go on then, Sir Lewis. Your go, chap. Sir Lewis still trotting around slow. Bringing the tyres in maybe, but he's gone green. Now he's going for it. Yeah, he didn't want to give him a slipstream. Now there's a Max Verstappen as well. Oh, the humanity. Max Verstappen about to go purple here. 114. Oh, oof, soft compound tyres. Let's go. So we've got ourselves a cheeky little mini qualifying here. Who else is going around? Lewis Hamilton going around. Purple microsectors. Green sector 1 from Sir Lewis. 22.1. But a good 10.5 adrift of Max Verstappen sector 1. Bloody no, look at Lando. Oh my goodness. Let's stay with Sir Lewis for a little bit, but Lando's the... Wow. Lando 28, 21.8. So Noda-san goes 3rd. Huh. It's Lando that we need to look at. Although Lewis is going quick here. Purple microsector 1 and 2 in sector 3 from Sir Lewis. It'll be close. 14.0 is the time to beat. Lewis goes 14.09. Go on then, all eyes on Lando's. Lando's going quick here. 21.8. Oh my gosh, he's 0.3 up. He's going to be a 113 something here. Maybe a 113.8 from Lando Norris incoming. 113.7. Oh, the humanity chat. McLaren have the whip hand. That was a bit too easy from Lando there, I'll be honest with you. This goes 13.7. 0.3 down the road. 0.4 down the road from Max Verstappen. And Brooksy makes the point that that's purple, all 3 sectors. 28.8, 29.4, 22.4. It's a signal of intent there from Lando and McLaren. Maybe Zach Brown had it right. Hamilton sector 3 be telling though. Compounds are harder, which I'll tell you what, I wouldn't back against. I feel like it was the same in 2024, if I recall correctly, at that Mercedes team, boys and girls from Brackley and Brixworth. If I recall correctly, it was Sir Lewis Hamilton struggling to keep those soft compound tyres, to keep them set fair in good nick over the course of a hot lap around Barcelona. I told you, Lando 2.0. Easy G's. Looking like that at the moment. Yuki's awake. Hey, Lando, you can't do that. he's looking good. It appears the flex or lack thereof is going to be a flex for McLaren. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. They look good. That's 113.7. Just like that. Shout out to Mike Goldberg, legendary UFC commentator. Oof. Flexi wings, these are. Wow. McLaren new flexi wing would get stopped. And now we're ahead of the game with the contingency wing. Zach Brown called it. He did call it, but again, a lot of racing to be done over the course of this weekend. Just Matt fans going crazy. It's just practice. Let Red Bull cook. Red Bull knows something that they just have to make something out of that technical directive. They can't throw away this appetite. 1000%. Looks like TD018 is a waste of money and resources. A lot of people said that it wouldn't change anything, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to see. That's a sign. That's serious though. 113.7. Huh. I hear. No, you know what I mean? That's quick from Lando. No sign, not even a hint of tired egg in sector 3. Worry not, OJ keeps his hand well hidden. Move in silence and only speak when it's time to say checkmate, some people say. Do me a favour here, chat. Do me a favour and smash the like because it matters. It really, really matters. Otherwise, YouTube and its algorithm are going to think that your boy's out here talking rubbish and nonsense, and I hope we're not doing that. I hope we're not doing that. Not at all. Sometimes, at least. Bernie Collins analysing, getting in our pit lane bag, saying that the texture of the ground is very different as versus what we experienced in Monaco. All OJ's keeping it. Yeah. OJ, wait meekly and murmur not. Yeah, McLaren's new wind tunnel, when correlated, was their secret sauce, especially since Red Bull relied mostly on their superstar designer. More than wind tunnel correlation. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? It's a bit different, yeah. Right. Yuki 0.6 off Max. That's disappointing. Standard. I don't know what else we're expecting at this stage. What's wrong with Ollie? Ollie's a rookie, mate. Like I feel like we need to give these guys a little bit more grace sometimes. Just a bit more grace. Get your boys fiddling around with his tablet, eh? The technophobe that I am. Icarus Hajar. That's fair. Yeah, what's going on? He's at Nuki. It's going to happen, isn't it? They're going to switch out. I suppose the worst thing that can happen to Yuki is the fact that Honda manufacturer, the collaboration between Honda and Red Bull comes to an end at the end of this year. And Honda are going to be the exclusive engine or power unit manufacturer now of Aston Martin. And Yuki Tsunoda was a Honda driver always more than a Red Bull racing driver. So what happens then? And now you've got Hajar, the conveyor belt, as far as Red Bull junior driver and young talent runs rife. It has. You have now all of a sudden Arvid Lindblad waiting in the wings, meant to be the next one. Lest we forget, he's the Don that rocked up to Lando Norris and said about 4 years ago, "I want you to remember my face, Lando." Looked him well in the eyes. "I want you to remember my face. I will see you in 5 years." I don't hate that. You've got to have balls to talk that way as a young, hungry lion of an F1 driver soon to be. I do not hate it. Navi Limban now, if I recall correctly, sits at 5th in F2, and if it was enough for Kimi Antonelli, then surely it's got to be enough for Arvid Lindblad. Surely. Helmut Marcus told us as much. So here's what I'm predicting. If we're going to play future games, Arvid Lindblad will get the promotion to Red Bull Racing Bulls even next season, alongside one of... potentially alongside Lawson. Mate, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because Lawson hasn't been great. I don't know. Go on then, let's go. Okay, so Arvid Lindblad gets the promotion alongside Lawson. Isaac Hajar gets the promotion to Red Bull Racing alongside Maximilian Verstappen, 4, soon to be 5-time. And then Yuki Tsunoda is the odd man out, eh? He's left without a chair when the music stops. Why did McLaren say the impact to the new wing? What the impact of the new... Start again, Starley. What did McLaren say? What impact will the new wing directive have? Impact was the answer. Starley, they said that it wouldn't have much of an impact. That's what they said. Rafa Horner to run for FIA president. I don't know about all of that. I tell you, imagine Christian. Probably a bit too soon. Umar says Red Bull knows the grounds they are playing at. McLaren can have all the flair in practice sessions. In contrast, Red Bull derives massive data to put the car in that window. Very well said, Umar. That if past his prologue, then that's what we did. Did Arvid do that? I mean, he's showed it. He's showed enough, I think. Highlights. He's been good around certain track. A Norris Ring-esque performance. Don't sulk, you're a legend. Thank you so much, mate. Too kind with the donation as always. McLaren have 100% changed the car to suit Lando's driving style. Oscar is too nice, trusting to realise it yet. Oof. So go on then. What Don't Sulk is alluding to there is a couple of different things there. In the first instance, to be fair, Andrea Stella said that they would always move the handling dynamic of that McLaren towards Lando Norris for a couple of different reasons that we'll discuss over the course of the weekend. But the handling dynamic of the McLaren is such that Lando, they've moved it away from Lando's geometric racing line type style. Mr. Wide Line. Sorry, my bad about syntax. No, Styler, that's me being illiterate. You did nothing wrong, Styler. I tell you what, when I'm reading out the comments sometimes, I'm trying to preempt because you guys just type, right? And sometimes there's typos in there, so I know that there's going to be mistakes, and sometimes I'm trying to preempt them. But there was nothing wrong with your comments, Styler. That's my being illiterate. But no, as far as McLaren, the MCL circumstance last year, geometric racing line, and it gave then Lando Norris all the cues that he needed to preempt, I don't know, a snap oversteer moment as an example. This year, however, by dint of its very ambitious anti-dive, anti-squat suspension setup, they've made it more of a V-line car. So if you ask less of the car this year, like Oscar Piastri does by dint of his V-line, his ability to have the car manipulate it in and around and on the limits of adhesion, then that's the way that you get more out of the MCL39 per Oscar Piastri. It's a different way, and plus Oscar Piastri deals better with the car not giving him the cues. And again, it's a bit understeery, isn't it? As at the apex per Andrea Stella. So it suits the one that they call Oscar Piastri a little bit more, I think. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. 419 if you're watching Kokoni, do me a favour and smash the like. It matters, it helps. If Lando becomes the lead driver, checkmate. Bloody Nora. I think they'll take points off of each other, I'll be honest with you guys. I think they will take points of it. Lawson looking good. Behave yourself. I don't believe it. Up into 6th there. Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong. You tell no lies. Currently, your runners and riders with 15 minutes left on the docket as we round third base. Lando Norris has the whip hand. Tops your timing sheets on a 13.7. Shortly thereafter, 4 tenths behind him on that soft compound red label tyres. Max Verstappen forcing to be 5-time. Max Verstappen leads Lewis, who's done a 14.1 as near as mates day. Look at that. Don't hate that from Lewis. What happened to... What was all this rubbish that you were talking, Cameron, about Ferrari being not very good around here, having not bought substantial upgrades? Shortly follows Leclerc on a 14.2. Piastri on a 14.2 also. Lawson in 6th. Yeah, don't hate it. But Lawson, okay, go on then. Let's have a look at the gap between Hajar and Lawson. Lawson on a 14.4 on softest compound tyres. C3. Hajar, C1, 14.6. There's only 3 tenths adrift. So 600 of you watching Kokoni, do me a favour and smash the like as we round third base. Joanna, you're a legend. Visual says advantage. Nando's advantage is track experience in being able to drive a quirky car. So any quirks that McLaren might introduce, Lando would have experienced it. Would have experience of driving the weird McLarens of the past. I don't disagree. Visual, but people say that he's struggling a little bit. Well, was struggling at least. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Can Red Bull put fries in the back? Max will win the race from P2. Take that to the bank, Starley. You're barking at me and you're barking up the same tree, singing from the same hymn sheet. It is FP1, so we all need to be called Touche, Max. This is due diligence time, research time. FP1 is to optimize for your car for the paid sessions later on Saturday. Ferrari look fast, it's true. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if that pace went to 0 come the paid session. Excuse me. This FP1 session has been riveting. 580 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash it. Oscar was able to pull out more pace at different parts of the Monaco. Tell you what, visual. Go back and watch that onboard of Lando. The first sector, the double apex as he's going down the hill towards Mirabeau was techie. Techie then to get. Rio Hirakawa is just talking, isn't he? What was last year's pole lap time, says Leroy. Leroy, you're not watching enough videos, chap. We went through all that at the start, and we also went. Go back when you got time, Leroy. Go back and have a watch of the preview video, because we talked about that. I think. 11.3, if I recall. But I'm not going to indulge you, Leroy, because we talked about it already, mate. I accept your apology for being late to the foray. It will be 1:12 tomorrow, just Friday. Engine turned down, agreed. Are you sure you're late? Well, I must be tired or something. Long week, counting these beans. I've always said it and will say it again. Lando races Max. Oof. Oscar races Max negotiations with the RB21. Wow. One race is a beast. The other race is the leash she's tied to. Bloody Nora Umach. Don't hate that, chap. Do you see how I drove around your mistype there, Umach? That's a case in point there. I had to read words that you didn't write to give it the justice. You'll forgive me now, Umach, for my misgivings previously at the altar of illiteracy. That time I had to put words in to make it make sense. Do you think Sutil parted with Lewis? Mate. Visual. And you're a legend, Visual, for being a member for 13 months, but I can't. Point is to get some more sleep, eh? T-minus 10 minutes on the docket. Cameron, you have to get yourself and your family to a race, and it should be Sepang Qatar, family friendly, cheap, relatively affordable for a bean counter and a YouTube megastar. And Dash, one day we'll get there. I appreciate your kind words as always. T-minus 10 minutes. I'm loving Nico Rosberg on the 11.3. There we go. You're a legend, Ethan. Attic, member for 10 months. Spread some idiot on the page. Oh, can't even do it. Sean Coombs settings. Yeah, you see it too much. Sometimes reading extemporaneously is very difficult. I take it. I'd had my Weetabix for that one. Your play team, it says me. Luce's a great driver. Oh my god! You know what the joke is? I was going to retweet the bloody picture of Luce with his brother. And I thought, you know what, I don't even need that smoke. Sometimes you don't need. Sometimes truth has no place in social media because people are too abbot of unreasoning. Do you know what I mean? Testing the degradation sauce. Yeah, they're going to have to push over. Sector 3 is going to be important. I think the battleground upon which the fight for qualifying pole will be won or lost as a name, and its name is Sector 3. Cam, among the assemblage of talents witnessed this season, whose command of the wheel and display of automotive virtuosity has, in your view, most resplendently eclipsed the rest? Bravo. So, well, you guys and this the verbiage, the cadence and the wording is levels here. So let me read that again. I quite enjoyed that. Among the assemblage of talents witnessed this season, whose command of the wheel and display of automotive virtuosity has, in your view, most resplendently eclipsed the rest? Oscar surprised me most. Yeah, much. Oscar surprised me the most, I'll be honest with you. But then a certain time, I mean, Max in play. Suzuka. Just make it make sense. At risk of being called a Max Glazer. I suppose, okay, so Oscar's overtake of Max Verstappen, the way that he managed that whole circumstance, right, was quite impressive. He was quite Max Verstappen in his aspect, wasn't he? He was very Max Verstappen. What's the white spot on your shirt? It is. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'll be honest. So Oscar's probably got Oscar thus far season to date has taken the award for the most surprising moment. But to your question, Soraya, some of Max polls I still don't understand. I don't understand the Suzuka poll. Maybe you explain it by saying that the RB21 is better than Red Bull have led us to believe. But I don't know. Max's polls. There's been 3 of them, hasn't he? Where he should have really been able to put on a. He should have been able to put on ball. I normally do not buy into the sabotage thing, but ask them. Wheelong, I don't know how you still got me reading your comments here. So disrespectful and rude, are you? Shaw drove the best this season. Really, AS Forza? AS Forza. Shaw's been good. Shaw has been very good. Monaco, Shaw has been good. I tell you what, AS Forza, to your statement, AS Forza, I will confess my sins. I'll bring myself to the truth pulpit. My availability heuristic is triggered by like the brightest of brilliant moments. Not necessarily the frequency of them. So I'm not paying attention to the median or the mean even. I'm paying attention to the most brilliant of flame. That's why my eyes draw. Lando as well, to be fair. Lando at Monaco was ridiculous. That qualifying lap was goated. But I'm thinking about Max at Suzuka. I didn't think that was going to happen. Nor did the odds makers. You can do the revisionist history thing all you want to, right? But when you learn that Max was 18-1 at some stage to drop it on pole, tells you all you need to know. He should have been able to do it. And he's a nice person, I think. Don't know him though. The white stuff is glazed syrup. You joke. You like a clowns. Rubbed off now anyway. I don't know. It might be glazed syrup. 431 of you watching concurrently. T-minus 5 minutes left on the docket. Do me a favour and smash the like. It matters a lot, the most. Do a poll on wearing a white shirt. No, EK. There is a uniform. There is a code, a dress code for this channel. And one must stick to it. Hajar, good shout, Brett. It is indeed a good shout. Hajar has been most surprising, actually, to be fair. I think I was talking most surprising moment from Oscar. I didn't think he would get round. I didn't think he'd be able to checkmate Max Verstappen, even in a car that was much better. I just didn't see him being able to. Not that way. I didn't think he'd be able to do that. Franco Colapinto, DNFs. They're doing something on the floor, says Bernie. Yuki needs to be closer than that point, so I don't disagree. I do not disagree, especially around a 70-second track as near as makes that different. Looks like McLaren are trying different settings for Norris and Piastri as times are too far apart. I don't think Piastri's had a good go at it properly. 14.3, yeah, it's not 0.6 again, is it? 0.6 all over the show. Oh, here's a Max Verstappen. All eyes on Mr. Verstappen's. Oh, he's going yellow. Look at this. I think Max Verstappen is seeing whether he can do a push-up. Remember that McLaren, I didn't think that push-pull was the way to bring in those tyres best into their, or most efficiently at least, into their optimal temperature window and keep them there. And it turned out to be the case at Monaco. That's why. But for that, I mean, if Ferrari had done the same with Charles Leclerc, you could argue that he might have been on pole and I'd put in a record lap time. 69 seconds around bloody Monaco. That's chaos. First man to go below 70 seconds. Bernie Collins 100,000,000% over Danica Patrick every single time. I don't care about Hajar. He's nowhere close to Kimi. Bro is in school. Facts. Extra warm lap. Go on. I'm having a look. Max Yellow. And Anthony Davidson says this is one of his strongest tracks. I mean, if indeed, it's all if listen, if Red Bull can give him a car, Max got no chances. I mean, Selvin. Back against Max Verstappen at your peril. 6.1 seconds is what Max Verstappen. Let's have a look. Oh, so Max is doing race run on the softs. What's that about? What is that about for Max Verstappen? Yeah, he's just sim running. Max Verstappen been entrusted with the reins of the MCL39 from the season's inception. Do you believe his prodigious talents would have sufficed to carry him to try? I think, well, Soraya, you might, yeah, maybe not in all 8 races, but I think we can all agree that Max would probably be leading the championship if he was driving a MCL39. Probably. I mean, you heard what friend of the channel Peter Windsor said that he'd be good. Peter did one of these, didn't he? Rather infamously, but Lando, I'm sorry, you wouldn't see which way Max went if he was driving that papaya-coloured car. 513 of you watching concurrently, do me a favour and smash a like. Lewis is only on the hards, agreed. I don't think he set that. I think, remember, the tyre compound that you see on your screen is, it shows you what tyre the driver's on now. I think that when Lewis set that lap time, though, he was on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. I think. Do me a favour, chat, as you round third base. 600 of you in the chat watching FP1 for Pete's sake. Round 9, the Spanish Grand Prix, the last one of its ilk at the Barcelona Circuit de Catalunya. Do me a favour and smash the like, because it helps alert the algorithm to the fact, the indisputable fact, that we're out here not talking gubbins. Bernie Collins. Mercedes isn't liking the, as always. The problem with that Mercedes is that it goes well in cold climes. A la Las Vegas in 2024, it looks like all of a sudden it's a market-leading car. But then it get around a track like Barcelona and it struggles because it is hot. Max on the McLaren would rocket. Rocket. Max on the McLaren rocket would have already drove away to Mars. Now that would be a good astronaut. I don't hate it. How you'd probably need push, pull, then push because of how hard this track is on the tire. Maybe visual, or just kind of nail it right. I don't think you need to make it more complicated than necessary. 570 in the chat concurrently as we round third base. Your time currently on the docket, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Listen to me. You guys, each and every single one of you, have been legends, properly legends, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. In extremis, ad infinitum. My name is the name above the door, Cameron, of course. But this channel belongs to you and strives to survive by dint of your hard work and your patience. Continue the conversation in the Discord for all of the members. We'll be back 30 minutes before FP1. James Bott, legend. Aston Martin underperforming to get more win tunnel potentially. If Adrian Newey smarts and streetwise has had anything to do with it, for sure. And you're a legend, James, as always. If you want to join the channel, then you know what to do. Access to the Discord, cheeky weekly newsletter, and so too priority in the chat as per usual. Get yourself over to the merch store. God tier, purple sector, market leading Maximilian Verstappen merch, and Sonoda Sand and Cameron CC merch. Even if I do say it so myself. We'll be back before FP2. 30 minutes as always. Between now and then, remember as always to look but never stare.